So with the last 2 days that we had in Delhi, we did two things that I'd done before. Went back to the National Museum, but this time I really got to do it nice and slowly. And this was Sarah's first time, of course. Took another run through Shah Jahanabad, which was absolutely fantastic. And with our last evening, we had this fantastic opportunity that was presented to us by Sarah's cousin, who happened to know the imam of Dargah Sharif, which is the mosque connected to the Nizamuddin Shrine complex. And so we had an invitation to have iftar dinner with him and a number of other people where we would break the fast. You can see that meal here, right next to the shrine of Nizamuddin, who is a Sufi saint venerated not just by Muslims but by Hindus as well who come to visit the shrine. That night we were treated to some Qawwali music, which is a sort of music that is played by Sufis outside of this shrine every Thursday night. This happened to be a Friday, so we were a little on the lucky side. And it was a really amazing experience. Absolutely fantastic. Um, from there, we picked up, for me, for the first time in 5 weeks, and moved permanent residence and took a flight out to Khajaraho. But before I talk about that, I just thought I'd show a little bit of the differences in how people deal even with Western foods here. Up here, up top, you've got a Snickers bar, and this one is called a two-pack. I left a water bottle cap in there so that you could see that. Indeed, this is all to normal scale. What we would consider to be a normal candy bar, that's gotta be for two people here. You can see by this little Mars bar size that that's the normal serving size. This would be the second size to smallest of potato chip that you would get. Not the smallest one that little kids get, but you know the kind of uh, under a buck, grab it from the convenience store type. Here, that would be a buddy pack because obviously you couldn't finish that many potato chips on your own, especially if they're India's magic masala potato chips, which were pretty darn good, by the way. So Khajuraho, this is a place that's most famous for uh, its sensual sculptures, which adorn some of the best northern Hindu temples. This in particular is the Kendaria Mahadev temple. um, this one's not from that temple. It's from the other one in the same complex. You can see here an apsara, a sort of a female spirit, doing a yogic pose. There are a lot of other really amazing sorts of standard poses, looking into mirrors, pulling a thorn from one's foot, painting henna onto hands. They're really amazing. There are couples, and then there are even full-blown sexual scenes. And of course, all of these are tying this very, very sensual, earthly sort of pleasure to a divine pleasure as well. Really interesting place. I would say if you love art history, and you go to India, this is a must-see. The Western Temple Complex was one of the most enjoyable art viewing experiences I've had in the 5 weeks I've been here. We had to then take an overnight train with a transfer where we were waiting around for an hour and a half in Jhansi to get onto another train, which got us into Bhopal this morning at about 5:15. And you can probably hear in my voice I'm a little tired and it's a little scratchy. I will say the difference between second class sleeper and first class sleeper is going to be worth the money for whoever is paying for it. Just absolutely that little notch above. And I was kind of worried because one of my favorite subjects to teach was on the menu for today, and I thought, maybe I would be a little bit too tired, but nope. The second we showed up to Sanchi, just amazing. Everything was perfect. It was a little bit cloudy, though it never rained, so it didn't really get much above about 80 degrees. And so it was ideal viewing experiences, and ideal for photographing because the light was diffused. So this is the one of the Tirana, the gateways that you'd walk through to get up to the Great Stupa. You can circumambulate it around the bottom, or you can actually climb some stairs and go to the top. Of course, we did both several times, taking a look at these sculptures. You're going to find when you look at these things that you've got all manner of stories, some from the life of Ashoka, who is the Mauryan emperor who sort of rebuilt the site in order to honor Buddha at a time when he was unifying the nation under Buddhism. There are scenes from the life of Buddha, and there are a number of Jataka tales, which are tales from the Buddha's earlier life, that is, incarnations where he learned things that help him to get better rebirths, that help him to, of course, eventually reach Buddhahood. Here, in this particular one, I love it. He is living as a monkey prince, and a human prince comes looking into farmlands for ripe mangoes. He's tipped off, this is his band right here, to these wonderful mangoes up here, but monkeys have them. So he rides in with his archers. The archers take aim, shoot at the monkeys. That is not something the monkeys much care for, especially the soon-to-be Buddha. And so he turns himself, stretching his body between trees and grabbing a vine with his back feet. He turns himself into a bridge, and all of his monkeys, they jump across to safety. You can actually see them all pretty happy over here, except that his sort of nemesis monkey jumps on his back and breaks his back. He then is picked up and carried on a stretcher back up, where the prince, the human prince, having seen the monkey prince be a perfect ruler to his people, sacrificing himself, takes that monkey and hears a sermon, and as the monkey is dying, the prince sort of realizes what he needs to do in order to be a perfect prince. It's a great story, really, really beautiful sculpture as well. So at most places that Sarah and I had gone, we looked less Western than everybody else, but that was simply not true at Sanchi, where the big two groups were a group of Sri Lankan tourists and a group of military men, and the military men wanted a picture with us. I guess we looked so exotic, and so we asked that they take a picture with our camera as well. So here we are at the Great Stupa with several guys in camo fatigues. They were really nice, by the way. We had a little extra energy, which was great, because then we were able to get to Udagiri, which is a set of caves that here show to the left Vishnu in an earlier in one of his earthly incarnations as a boar, and we even got to, just on the ride home, stop by a place that's known as the Heliodorus column, which was a column that was dedicated by a Greek envoy in the 2nd century BCE. Really interesting archaeological remains in this area, I have to say. It has been fantastic. These might be the best 2 days of sculpture I've ever been able to view, full stop. And tomorrow, really, really interesting. Going to be getting to Bimbetka, which is the only confirmed Paleolithic cave painting site in Asia that I can find, and from there flying off to Mumbai. So hopefully the next time that I'm able to check in with you, I'll have all kinds of new and interesting things.